Subscribe to my YouTube channel. You won't believe what happens in this story. I opened my eyes, and for a moment, I couldn't breathe. My heart pounded against my ribs, my head spinning as I took in my surroundings. This wasn't the cold hospital bed I had died in. No, I was back in my old bedroom. Soft pink walls, fairy lights hanging over my dresser, and the scent of fresh lavender in the air. I scrambled out of bed, my legs shaking. My hands darted to my phone, my breath hitching as I saw the date. 3 years ago. I was 3 years in the past, back before the betrayal, before the heartbreak, before I had foolishly trusted the people who destroyed me. I wasn't dead. I was reborn. A bitter laugh escaped my lips as memories rushed in. How I had given everything to my fiancé, Daniel. How I had sacrificed my dreams, my time, my love, only to find him in bed with my so-called best friend Olivia, and how, even after I caught them, I had been the one who walked away, devastated and alone, but not this time. My fingers tightened around my phone. If fate had given me a second chance, I wouldn't waste it. No more playing the fool. No more being the girl who begged for answers. This time, I would expose them before they even had the chance to stab me in the back. Taking a deep breath, I pulled up Daniel's messages. There it was, the same sickly sweet text he had sent me back then. Good morning, baby. Can't wait to see you tonight. I love you. Lies. I knew exactly what he was doing behind my back. The late night excuses, the sudden business trips, the way Olivia always seemed to know things about my relationship she shouldn't have. I had ignored the signs once. I had blamed myself, but not this time. I cracked a smile, a fire burning in my chest. I wasn't going to cry. I wasn't going to beg. I was going to catch them red-handed, but I wouldn't do it alone. I dialed the one person I had pushed away in my last life, my brother Jake, the only person who had tried to warn me, the only one who had truly cared. He picked up on the second ring. Hello. His voice was groggy. Of course, it was early. Jake, I said, my voice shaking slightly, though not from fear, from Doy's determination. I need your help, and before you ask, just trust me. I know things, and I know you were right about Daniel, about Olivia, about all of it. Silence. Then a slow, careful exhale. Tell me everything. I did, and by the time I finished, Jake was fully awake. So let me get this straight, he said, voice laced with disbelief. You want to catch them in the act? Exactly. A pause. Then Jake let out a low chuckle. Now this I can get behind. I felt a thrill run through me. This was happening. This was real. The plan was simple. I would act like the same clueless, devoted fiancé. I'd play my part, pretending to be the naive girl they thought I was. Meanwhile, Jake and a few of our close friends would be ready with cameras, waiting for the moment we caught them together. And once we did, I would end it all. No more second chances. No more forgiving. No more being the fool. I checked my phone again. Daniel was already lying. Sorry, babe. Can't make our dinner date tonight. Something came up at work. I smirked. I knew exactly where he was going, and I would be there waiting. Tonight, the truth would come out. And this time, I'd be the one walking away. I stared at my phone, the message from Daniel burning in season, my mind. Sorry, babe. Can't make our dinner date tonight. Something came up at work. I almost laughed. He was so predictable. 3 years ago, I had believed these excuses, convincing myself that Daniel was just a hard-working man. dedicated to his career. But now, I knew exactly what work meant. It meant Olivia. I sat on my bed, gripping my phone so tightly. My knuckles turned white. I could still remember the pain from my past life, the way I had trusted them both, how I had felt like the ground had disappeared beneath me when I found out the truth. I had cried for days, unable to understand how the two people I loved the most could betray me like that, but that version of me was gone. I wasn't here to cry. I was here to make them pay. I texted Jake. "It's happening tonight, be ready." He replied almost instantly. "I've got your back, let's do this." I let out a breath, steadying my heart. If this was truly my second chance, I wasn't going to waste it. I needed to make sure that when this was over, there was no way for them to twist the story in their favor. I had to be careful, smart, but before I could fully focus on the plan, there was one more thing I had to do. I needed to fix my past mistakes. I picked up my phone and hesitated before dialing another number, one I had once ignored too many times. The call rang twice before a soft, hesitant voice answered. "Lena?" Tears pricked my eyes. I had lost her before, one of my biggest regrets. My childhood best friend, the one who had always been there for me, the one I had foolishly pushed away. When Daniel and Olivia filled my head with lies. "Mia," I whispered, my voice caught in my throat. There was a pause. Then quietly, she asked, "Why are you calling me?" I took a shaky breath. "Because I miss you. Because I was wrong. And because I need your help." Another pause. Then with cautious curiosity, she said, "Tell me everything." I did. By the time I finished, Mia was silent. I waited, my heart racing, until she finally spoke. "You were really going to marry that guy?" she said, disgust in her tone. "Lena, I told you something was off about him, about Olivia, and you didn't listen." "I know," I admitted, my throat tight, "and I'm sorry." A long sigh. Then to my relief, Mia's voice softened. "Well, at least you finally see it, and if you're planning on exposing them, count me in." I smiled, warmth filling my chest. Really? Really? Someone has to be there to see the look on Olivia's face when it all falls apart. I laughed, wiping at my eyes. "Thank you, Mia. That was one mistake fixed, but I wasn't done yet." That evening, I sat in my car, outside a fancy restaurant, gripping the steering wheel as I watched through the large glass windows. Inside, under the dim glow of the chandeliers, I spotted them, Daniel and Olivia, sitting at a table for two, laughing like they didn't have a care in the world. My stomach twisted, but I forced myself to stay calm. I needed this moment. I needed to see them together, to let the reality of it sink in. I wasn't imagining things. I wasn't overreacting. They were betraying me. Again, but this time. I was ready. From my back seat, Jake sat with his camera, recording every second. "They really don't have a clue, huh?" he muttered. "No," I said, my voice steady. "They don't," he smirked. "Good. Let's make sure this is a night they'll never forget." I took a deep breath, preparing myself. This was it. Tonight, everything would change. I took a deep breath, steadying myself as I opened the car door. My heart pounded, but I forced my face into a calm, unreadable mask. This was it. Jake adjusted the camera, making sure everything was recording. "You ready?" he asked in a low voice. I nodded. More than ever. With Mia by my side, I stepped into the restaurant, the heels of my shoes clicking against the polished floor. The soft hum of conversations and clinking glasses filled the air, but to me, it all felt distant, muffled. My focus was locked on one table. Daniel and Olivia. They were laughing, their faces glowing under the warm light. Olivia leaned in closer, touching his hand like she had every right to. Like she hadn't spent years pretending to be my best friend. Something inside me twisted, but I didn't let the anger take over. Not yet. I walked straight up to their table, stopping just inches away. Daniel, I said smoothly. He looked up, his face shifting from surprise to shock in an instant. His smile faltered. Lena, what are you here? I finished for him. Well, you said you were working late, so I thought I'd surprise you. His jaw clenched. He glanced at Olivia, then back at me, scrambling for an excuse. This isn't what it looks like. Mia let out a laugh beside me. Oh, come on, at least be original. Olivia stiffened, her fingers tightening around the wine glass. Lena, I think you're overreacting. I pulled out my phone and held it up. You mean to... This? The screen lit up with the video. The one Jake had recorded from outside, crystal clear. Daniel reaching for Olivia's hand. Olivia smiling, leaning in, whispering something against his ear. Their little world, caught in the act, the color drained from Daniel's face. Where did you get that? Does it matter? I asked coldly. Because I already sent it to a few people, you know, for safekeeping. A heavy silence fell over the table. Olivia swallowed hard, but Daniel was still scrambling. Lena, we can talk about this. There's nothing to talk about, I said, cutting him off. Not anymore. I pulled something from my bag and tossed it onto the table. An envelope. Daniel frowned, his hand shaking slightly as he opened it. The moment his eyes scanned the papers inside, he stiffened. You're serious? I nodded. Signed, notarized. Our engagement is over, Daniel, for good. His mouth opened, but no words came out. He looked stunned, like he had truly believed I would just cry and forgive him, just like before. Not this time. Olivia shifted uncomfortably. Lena, let's be reasonable. Reasonable. I let out a breathy laugh. You mean the way I was reasonable, every time you lied to my face. Every time I defended you, she flinched. I never meant to. Stop, I said firmly. I don't want to hear it. I don't need to. Mia crossed her arms. Honestly, Olivia, if you thought you could get away with this, you clearly don't know Lena at all. Daniel ran a hand through his hair, his voice low and desperate. Lena, don't do this. Think about everything we've built. I met his eyes, feeling nothing. Not anger, not heartbreak, just freedom. That's the thing, Daniel, I said, my voice calm. It wasn't real. None of it was. And now, I get to start over. I turned on my heel, walking away without another word. As I stepped outside, the cool night air filled my lungs. For the first time in years, I felt light. I felt free. Mia looped her arm through mine. That was epic. Jake grinned, holding up his phone. And all caught on camera. I smiled. But it wasn't about the video. It wasn't about revenge. It was about finally letting go. I had been given a second chance, and I wasn't going to waste it. Not on them, not on the past. This time, I was wise in choosing myself.